thinking creatively about businesses. And I'd like to do a business that is not well known, but it is in Mauritania, in West Africa. You can see there are a few things here about Mauritania. It got its independence from France in the 1960s, but one of the interesting things we know is that often there are migrations of individuals into urban settings from rural settings just because there's the belief that that's where jobs are. Okay? The easiest way to form a business in a country like Mauritania is to look at it in terms of natural resources. And what this is all about is you can see that the uranium is one of the really big natural resources in Mauritania. Okay? That would be the easy way. And we could spend a whole night talking about the responsibility of extractive industries, mining companies, to do this in a way. But I'd like to talk to us about a person that had a really different vision to build an inclusive market. So here's Nancy. She was a Brit by birth who married a Mauritanian. They went and they lived there. She saw an opportunity to open a dairy. So I've written, so what's so new about opening a dairy? Anyone want to venture what's so new and innovative about opening a dairy in Mauritania?
In a desert setting?
In a desert setting, that's one thing. This is really interesting. Here's the underexploited resource in Mauritania. So what did Nancy do? She opened a camel dairy. And notice, if we come with this as the perspective of building an inclusive market, she employs people in the dairy. She has suppliers who are basically nomadic, but has to figure out how they can get their milk from their camels to her. And so we have a very simplified, in pictures, supply chain. Here's the raw material, here's the processing, and then it gets made into products. And here are some of the real products that they make from camel milk. Camel milk, yummy, don't you think? Well, you know, Tavisky, if you're in Mauritania, yes indeed, you think that this is, excuse me for mixing metaphors, the cat's meow, okay? So how does this relate to the building inclusive markets and the Millennium Development Goals? Notice it reduces poverty, it helps maternal and child health because of all the stuff in milk. It's a sustainable enterprise because camels keep producing milk, and she's worked with the government. And you can just see here, this is just a nice little summary of what they do. Okay, so now we get to the issue of sustainability. So we're at the point where I'm going to ask all of us to think about building different kinds of businesses. So in the next 2 minutes, I'm going to show you some pictures from Cambodia. Please look at these pictures, and again, the same thing is, what kind of inclusive businesses could we create for these individuals? Okay? This is just to show us what Phnom Penh looks like. This is the capital of Cambodia. Cambodia is really interesting. This is the revolutionary monument done in a particular style. It's the Khmer style. I'll get back to that. Maybe some of us have heard of the Khmer Rouge. But for us, here's how people live. Here's how some people live in Phnom Penh. A woman going through the trash, or a man, maybe. I think it's a woman. Okay, we'll come back to that. This is actually some housing also in the city, even though it doesn't look like it. This is urban housing set over a lagoon. Imagine the lives of these individuals. Do we see what's underneath where they live? This is how they get. This is how chickens come to market in Phnom Penh. You can see lots of interesting things in this picture. And of course, there are some multinationals there wanting to take advantage. We see Tang and my personal favorite, Nabisco Oreos. Even if we can't read Khmer, we can figure out, oh, it's dipped in milk. Okay, it's good for you. So there are some big multinationals. This is a picture of the city dump. This is a place called Stone Moon Chai. It's a really, you can just see, it's not a very nice environment. Recently, the city government of Phnom Penh closed this dump. But it used to be famous because people were actually living there. Families lived in the garbage dump. Here's a picture of kids playing ball. You can see what life is like there. And here's a picture I took just a couple months, 5 months ago, of boys walking through the garbage dump. This is the garbage dump today. And here's the nightlife of Phnom Penh, the street life of Phnom Penh. One of my favorite pictures. There's actually a hierarchy of garbage pickers in Phnom Penh. This guy who goes out every night is lucky enough to have a headlamp so that he can see things that others can't see. Okay? So now I just want to take us very briefly outside of Phnom Penh. This is out in the rural country. Here's just another way they do things. And there's a big lake in Phnom Penh, up country in Cambodia, and this is how people live there. People live on the lake. Their livestock on the lake. And people go fishing, obviously. But it's really interesting how much they caught the day that I was there. This is what they caught. This is their meal. Small little panfish, you can see. That's it for all of that digging in that lake. And finally, 2 pictures of a local school up in that area. And then I just want to end with a reminder that behind everything in Cambodia is the war between the Khmer Rouge, a famous movie called The Killing Fields, after this place was there. This is where genocide of Cambodians took place when there was war between 2 of the political parties. And if you don't think that war is bad, then you just have to read that.